Welcome. You are now invited to join
the common clay of the New West. The common clay, the common clay, the common clay of the New West. Morons.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back. This is a new episode that isn't filmed on the same day as the last episode. It's a brand new episode.
What have you been up to this week?
What have you been up to this week? Not much. Nothing. The weather's been crap. I'm in Berlin.
What are you doing in Berlin, mate?
I'm on a stag do next weekend.
Oh, you.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
As am I.
As are you. What are you doing next weekend?
Let me have a quick look at my diary. I'm going to pick you guys up from the airport, or I'm picking some of the guys up from the airport, from the stag do I wasn't invited to, and that's it.
They're all coming back a day earlier, aren't they? It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
not. They don't. People listening don't care about that.
People don't care.
So yeah, we're going to go straight into our new feature, which is the news again. Weird news. Oh, more weird news. Anyway, right. The first bit on the weird news is a bear walked into a liquor store.
Nice.
So that's good. Genuinely, right? And that's it. Next. That was just the story. Next, a paranormal investigator claims to have found a time warp in Las Vegas.
What?
Yeah. Joshua Warren, from a professional paranormal investigator, claims he's the first person to find a time warp. He says he was measuring the rate of time over the areas between Vegas and Area 51, and he's found a spot just north of Vegas where time slows down.
How do you measure that?
With like really, I don't know.
Probably like shooting lasers through it and seeing what time the lasers takes to reach the light, to reach one point to the other.
Slows down by 20 microseconds.
20 microseconds.
So it's not much.
Let us know when it's 20 seconds. Because, keep working on it.
Yeah.
But let us know when you've actually done something.
Definitely, Josh, what a prick. He said the only other explanation that, other than there being actual time warps dotted across the world, is that there's some sort of unknown technology being tested in the area.
Oh, around Area 51? Probably not.
No. And he says the exact quote was, "The big question at this point is not whether or not we have these anomalies, but what's causing them." Warren told KVVU, "Is this something natural that gives us a window into a gateway to another world or another level of reality? Or is this the byproduct of some sort of weird technology that's something secret and man-made, something that's extraterrestrial?" So that's interesting, though. It'd be good if it was like technology that made time slow down.
Yeah, it would be good, but, what would happen with it? The military would just weaponize it and use it against us, probably.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't use it for, like, jokes. Just because obviously the practical jokes you could do with that would be brilliant. But I'm sure they just use it to...
It'd be good if you could use it as, like, you could use it yourself. So, like, you could kind of just, like, instead of slowing the whole time, you could slow the time in the room down, but you wouldn't be affected. That's the dream.
That would be good, yeah.
That's what they're probably trying to get.
Yeah.
So yeah, should we move on, or do you want to talk about that?
Well, I've actually got a good segue from that into our pop culture bit, if that was the next bit.
No, I've got a few more news stories.
Oh, a few more news stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to...
No, I'll save mine for...
Cool.
Keep them waiting on bated breath.
The next story is a woman has cut off her boyfriend's butt. Honestly.
That's way too much to cut off.
In Birmingham, Alabama, a woman enraged at her boyfriend attacked him with a utility knife and cut off nearly all of his buttocks, leaving him near death on a dark rural road.
Oh, that's not funny.
Yeah, no, well, that's funny.
It is funny.
Yeah. The injuries were so severe that investigators initially believed the victim was sexually tortured and dragged behind a car in a possible hate crime. The man had not fully described what happened to the police, but they said they believe his girlfriend acted alone. She was arrested on Wednesday and charged with attempted murder.
It would take ages to cut someone's ass cheeks off.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Like, you'd have to, imagine, you get a bit of beef on a Sunday afternoon, you're carving bits off. It takes time.
Going, my butt. There's quite a lot bit more, but yeah, so he's just like, he just cut his butt off. Like.
Is he okay? He survived, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he survived. Yeah, he regained consciousness sometime later and drove about 9 miles to the nearest home. He remained hospitalised till Thursday.
He drove?
Yeah, he must have.
Oh, sitting down, that would have been terrible.
Yeah. Police said she pulled up behind his vehicle on an isolated highway near Aliceville and began stabbing him in the butt with a large knife. When he fell, she got down and started cutting. But guess what the policeman was called?
Oh, I hope it was butt related.
No, it was McCool.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so that's cool.
What, like Officer McCool?
Yeah, MC capital COOL.
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, so that's good. Anyway, last week we did weird sports news, but this week we're doing a bit of weird entertainment news.
Okay.
So, so it's not so much a topical news story, or like but it's more of like an ongoing entertainment news story. But you might not really remember. We've mentioned it before. It's quite obscure. Something called The Simpsons.
Never heard of it.
No.
Oh no, I do remember it. Yeah.
Well, apparently they've predicted a few things throughout time.
That's right.
So big things too as well. Like the internet's gone mad over it. So some people, there's like some explanations for it. Like the producers have come out and like actually did an article about like saying they've asked them how they did it, and they just kind of. Well, mainly it's just, it was an accident.
Well, I'd imagine most of it was, well, if you're going to make media content every year for the last 25 years or however long it's been going, 30 years, some of it's going to cross over into reality, do you know what I mean?
Well, anyway, the first prediction was 9/11, right? And they predicted it in 1997, and it happened in, obviously, in 2001, on September the 11th. And then in the episode The City of New York versus Homer Simpson, there's a moment that alluded to the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center, and not even the producer, this is one he couldn't explain. He was like, there's a frame where there's a brochure that says New York at 9 New York at $9 a day, and behind the 9 are the 2 twin towers, so it looks like an 11, so it looks like 9 and 11.
Yeah, on a magazine cover. I've seen a picture of it on the
and it's like, and he says it's just a really bizarre, strange thing. He said $9, we picked it because it was a comically cheap fare, so he said that was the reason behind that. And he just said, I grant that one's a bit eerie, and given that, he said it's he says, grant that's a bit eerie, given that it's the only episode of any series ever that had an entire act of World Trade Center jokes.
It's a bit creepy.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one was they predicted the Super Bowl in 92, 93, and 94. But they also predicted it in 92, 93, 94. So they predicted it the same year.
Oh, shit.
They got 3 in a row.
Wow.
In the same year, they predicted it.
So it wasn't like they were going, we think this team's going to win it. They just made reference to it in that year, going the whatever New England Patriots won the Super Bowl this year, sort of thing. Yeah, and then they went on to win it that year.
3 years in a row.
I mean, as I understand the NFL, it's not quite like, say, the Premier League, where realistically there's only 1 of 4 teams. Even then, you're safe by betting on maybe 1 of 3 teams winning it. The NFL, the Super Bowl, or what it's the Super Bowl's the NFL, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite open. Like, it changed. Like, very rarely do teams win it back to back.
No, it's only really the Patriots. They seem to they've won it a few times in the last few years, but that's unheard of.
That's rare. Yeah. Okay. I think that's quite a big one then.
Yeah. So he's and the guy said, Mr. Gene is one of the things he says. He does 3 lucky guesses.
God.
Yeah. He says in Lisa the Geek, which first aired in 1992, Homer and Lisa bond over sports. While sports gambling, Lisa had discovered a knack of predicting football winners, which Homer happily cashes in on. Lisa tells Homer that if the Washington Redskins defeat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, she would still love him, and if they don't, she won't. Washington wins, and all is well between them. 3 days after the episode air, so Washington beat the Buffaloes. So they predicted it like 3 days before, but
they make them months in advance.
Yeah, so that's even weirder.
They would write them months and months and months in advance. They take ages to animate.
The episode was reworked in 93 and 94 with new Super Bowl bound teams, which were the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. Both years, Lisa went with Dallas in 93, and Dallas won 52-17, and 94, Dallas won 30. So in the same episode, she guessed the next 3 years.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so fair play.
Oh, I'll have to keep an eye on that and bet on their next prediction.
Yeah. Anyway, that was really loud.
That was loud.
Anyway, the prediction was the Higgs boson particle. Remember that when that came out? Yeah. And they predicted it in 1998, and it happened in 2012. So 14 years later.
I love that thing that they split in an atom.
Yeah,
I don't know. Or they
I
were
think-
chucking an atom around to do
Yeah.
something, and they were like, we could either find something
Yeah.
amazing or we could end the world,
Yeah.
but we're going to try. It's like, wait, are they the two options?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I don't think I'm going to benefit from one, and I think I really might suffer from the other. It's not really
Yeah, I remember that. It was like a big thing. Where it's like
Yeah.
the world could end if this goes wrong.
the risk/reward factor for most people was very
Yeah.
highly sort of leaning towards the risk.
Yeah, that was mental.
But like, it'd be massive for the science community. It's like, yeah, it's quite a small community considering you're risking everyone else's lives. Yeah.
They called it the God particle, didn't
That's
they? I don't know
right,
why.
yeah.
What can it do?
I think it was just the initial particle that started the Big
Oh,
Bang.
okay.
So they were saying it could be another Big Bang.
So it was more they found out it existed rather than that they could use
Or a
it.
way to recreate
Yeah.
it by chucking this tiny little atom around and around and
It's
around.
crazy, isn't
They
it?
could then start, like, create new energy or life, or I don't know. Fucking knows.
Mental. Anyway, that's crazy. At
Cure
first,
cancer, like. What are you doing? Like, come on.
at first glance, the episode The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace plot point might seem like the freakiest Simpsons prophecy. However, Homer striving to be the next great inventor, standing at a chalkboard with a complex equation is scrawled. The equation is just a hair off what would become the Higgs boson particle, or God particle, which was discovered in 2012, decades after it was first presumed to exist. The equation predicts the mass of the Higgs boson. Simon Sinth, the author of the book The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, told British newspaper The Independent in 2015, if you work it out, you get the mass of a Higgs boson that is only a little bit larger than the nanomass of the Higgs boson that actually is. It's kind of amazing as Homer makes this prediction 14 years before it was discovered. But it can actually be explained to some degree. The Higgs boson was written into the script by David Cohen, who was one of the people with a math background in the show. Mr. Gene said what he put in was a plausible guess at the time, so it wasn't like it wasn't like they just drew some random things on a board and it turned out to be it. It was some guy just trying to guess it.
Okay.
But it was really close.
Oh,
So that one, yeah. And finally, the last one is Trump will become president.
Yeah,
there you go.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So I've just got some pictures here. That was the
Oh, yeah, the
9/11 one.
yeah. God, that's weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
The Trump one's really weird, though, isn't it? 'Cause it's like two spot-on pictures as well.
Yeah, it's creepy, isn't it? So we've got some pictures here of. You can find them online. We might post them, we might not, but we might do.
Say we do, but then I usually forget. So.
Yeah. Go on. So carry on.
Anyway, mentioned Simpsons prediction to someone, and chances are they will respond with they predicted Trump, right? Well, it might seem pretty amazing, but it's actually one of the show's most logical prognoses. Mr. Gene said, there's a category I would call plausible predictions, which Trump would fall under, he said. People have somewhat forgotten, but he was talking about running for president then.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't completely out of the blue. It was a guy who was a punchline and wanted to be a president.
Mm.
So, yeah, he just said that does seem like the logical last stop before hitting rock bottom in America.
Oh God.
So, yeah. So, he was...
Right. So yeah, I've seen the interviews of Trump talking about running for presidency from back in early 2000s or whenever it was.
And everyone was like, yeah.
Yeah. It is mad that it came true, and it is mad all these things that they've quote unquote predicted.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a lot. I mean, that's not even scratching the surface.
I've
There's
seen a bunch of
hundreds
them.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think it all just boils down to if you're gonna make 30 years worth of television, some of it's gonna overlap with.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, those are pretty fucking big things. 9/11 and Donald Trump. But
Like
yeah.
you said, like that was more of just some guy knew what he was doing anyway, and probably thought it'd be funny if Homer was writing something ridiculously clever. But well,
I like that.
yeah, Illuminati.
Illuminati, yeah, is the only answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
I haven't done that for ages. Like just watching creepy Illuminati. Internet conspiracy videos.
Yeah. Can you do the Deli Alley one?
No.
The celebration when he goes like a. But
This is good podcasting, isn't it? That's doing hand signs on our face.
cool. So yeah, you can start then. With pop culture reviews.
Oh yeah, so I read when I was on holiday in Portugal.
You read a book?
I read a book, mate. I know, it was fucking unheard of. There's a book called Dark Matter by an author called Blake Crouch.
Oh, nice.
I think he's an American author. I think he's based in Chicago because a lot of the book is centered around Chicago. But it was brilliant. It was really sci-fi, sort of, I suppose the premise, without giving too much away, is a man is abducted from his life, taken away from his wife and child
Yeah.
in quite aggressive circumstance. A man with a gun, basically.
Yeah.
And then he's basically sent to an alternate timeline
Oh, nice.
of his life, where that timeline of him is not there. So everyone just thinks he's that timeline's him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're all going, oh, you know, for example, Al, I can't remember, Jason, the character's name is. They're like, oh, hi, Jason, you're back, you know, what's going on? And he's like, I have no idea what's going on. I've been kidnapped. Where's my wife? And then they're like, you're not married.
No way.
And then he sort of starts piecing it together that he's in an alternate timeline of a life that he would have lived had he not married his wife and had a child with her.
That's mad.
And then he spends the rest of the book time hopping these different timelines, trying to get back to his wife.
Like Stewie in Family Guy.
Yeah, there is an episode like that. Yeah, it was more like you know, Rick and Morty. You know, the multiverse.
Yeah.
You know, that idea of he can kind of he can hop between
That's
different
awesome.
universes of his own life. And it was kind of like, you know, Rick and Morty. Although they're very dark and real with it, it's still a cartoon. It's still unreal. But the character just lived this life, and it was the real eventualities of if you were taken out of your timeline. You'd like, oh, you just live in your new timeline, but you're like, no, you wouldn't, because
No, definitely.
And he was like, even he managed to perfect it to get down to as close as he could, but it still wasn't right. It was still one decision that he had made previously
that
in
sounds
his
really good.
in his life started this different branch into a different timeline. But even though he got nearly there, it just wasn't the same. It wasn't his wife. It wasn't his child.
That's awesome.
So I recommend
Yeah,
reading
true. Getting
it.
the right child. That'd be a tough one.
Yeah. So it's amazing. It's fascinating. It's really dramatic. It's like they explain the science. You know, they don't go into the science too much because that would have been a bit heavy.
Yeah.
But the real realities of that kind of science is kind of like, oh, it's really.
Yeah.
Very
Out of
sad.
10?
It's quite sad, yeah. It's fucking 9 or 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Aye. What's it called again?
Dark Matter.
Dark Matter. There you go.
Blake Crouch, yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
There'll be a sticker on the book.
Recommended by Joe. And that's it until next year when I go on holiday and I read another book.
Yeah. I don't read enough. I should start reading more. I watched A Quiet Place last night. Or it's Friday night. The Jim from the Office horror film, which he written and directed.
Yeah.
And that was really, really good.
Was it really good?
It's taken over Cloverfield as the most perfect film for what it sets out to do.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it's that good.
That's a very unique review, but knowing that that's how you value some films, I appreciate the sentiment there, yeah.
There's no guff in it. I don't want to go into it because I don't want to go into spoilers or anything because it's very much watch it yourself sort of thing. But there's
Where did you watch it? Is it on?
It's on Amazon you can rent it on Amazon at the moment for like £3 or whatever.
Cool.
And it's like there's the world build, like, do you mean there's not a bit where someone explains this is what happened, this is what happened, this is the world building in the first 10 minutes is just like bits and pieces. You just be like, oh, that's happened, that's what's going on, you get it straight away. There's no like guff, there's just good bit after good bit after good bit after good bit. There's a really, really, really good, no, it's kind of a horror, kind of a thriller, just tense.
And it was Jim Halpert from the American Office.
Jim from The Office.
Did he write it?
He
directed
co-wrote
it?
and directed.
Cool. Is he in it?
Yeah, he stars.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and his actual wife.
Does he keep looking at the camera going, ooh,
Yeah, he does,
ooh,
yeah,
this is
see,
awkward?
That's the only bit that I was like, oh.
Yeah. Does anyone go, where's Pam?
Yeah. Well, his wife in it is Emily Blunt, who is his wife in real life.
Oh.
So there you go. But anyway,
Did they kiss on camera?
they do a couple times.
Oh. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, basically, the premise is that there's something hunting people, but they hunt by sound. And that's it. So that they can't make it, they all have to be really silent. And this family, they have a deaf daughter, so they're already used to sign language. So that gives them a bit of an advantage over other people. So that's literally, they don't explain that, but you go, oh, that's why they've survived. Because that's how they communicate anyway. So, and it's just really good. There's little things like that, and you're just like, oh, they've really thought loads about how to make this film, how to explain what's going on without ever explaining what's going on.
Yeah. I'm really critical of, and it happens a lot in American cinema, where they over-explain things and they dumb it down, and it's to the point where you're like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of when people actually make a conscious effort to not explain things, but just to assume half intelligence from their audience.
That's what it really does. Yeah. And like, there's a couple of times I watched it with my wife, and we both like gasped at like a couple of moments. It's like it's so. Do you remember when we were younger? We watched 28 Days Later in your house.
Oh, yeah.
And we all, after the first couple of minutes, we all closed all the doors and windows. We were all freaked out.
Yeah, we all had like chicken skin, goosebumps, didn't we? Because we had it was like 2 a.m, and it was like sort of winter's night. We had the back doors open because we were smoking, and we were just sort of, you could see outside into the darkness, and it just got you. It was just that moment, like
it was like that's the closest I felt like that since that film. It was brilliant. Yeah,
I love that. A lot of young guys, like fit, able-bodied young guys, going, "Let's shut the door in case zombies get us while we're watching a film."
The one good thing about The Quiet Place is it's not zombies.
Oh, cool.
Which is good.
Nice. I watched It.
Oh, nice. Go on then. Yeah, go on.
You know, the new version of it. I have seen it before. I watched it in the cinema, but it's 100% worth a rewatch. And I know that I've mentioned on the podcast before how the original It was just like my kind of my childhood trauma, basically. I had a very great childhood, so it's nice that just a film was the worst thing to happen to me as a child. But the remake, it was 2017, end of last year, I think. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. It's still just super creepy. It's dark, but they just added. It was worth a remake, I think, in my opinion.
Definitely.
A lot of films, I'm like, you don't need to remake that. But
well, it was actually a series. The first film.
It was like 4
it's like
30 minutes episodes or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, something like a mini series.
Yeah.
So like the film's actually like 4.5 hours long or something like that. Originally, but I don't ever remember really watching it all in one go.
I never watched it all in one go, and this is maybe where I struggle, because if it was really long, then chances are I'd watch an hour, and then it's particularly creepy if you don't see the end where they defeat the monster, or there's a conclusion or a bit of closure. So I was just watching chunks of it as a child, and it was just getting worse and worse. And then, and in actuality, the original, when I did finally watch the end, he turns into a massive spider. I was like, oh, that's not scary anymore. And I finally defeated the. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with me with Scream, because that was my one where I'd seen the trailer for Scream, and it was just the killer walking down the corridor, and that bit just freaked me out. And I was like, oh my god! And I used to live in my old house, had quite a long corridor, and I used to think, oh.
It's just in your head.
Yeah, it's in my head. But then when I watched the film, I was like, it's not scary.
It's
it's just some guy.
But it's on the Sky Movies. So you've got Sky Movies.
It's really good. I thought it was a bit long. It's a bit CGI heavy, and I really think they really pushed the wheel float down here thing when they didn't really know what to do with it. So they had them all just floating around at the end.
That was a bit odd.
Yeah.
I just assumed floating in water.
Yeah, but
and then you get down there and then we're floating in the air.
I think they thought that's a really good tagline. How can we get that into the film? And then
that was a bit odd.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of, though, what they did was, you know, in horror films they'll often do a very tense scene or horrible scene, and then they'll kind of lighten it, move on, develop the story. In the remake, they did sort of 3 scenes back to back of each of the kids getting traumatized and getting individually attacked, sort of thing. And that was just fucking uncomfortable watching. You're like, oh god, it's going into another one. Oh god, and then another one. And then when it then finally breaks and the story moves on in a lighter kind of element, you're like, fucking hell, thank god. I was like struggling there.
I did enjoy it.
So that's what I've been up to this week.
That's good, nice. Yeah. I think we've bit better than last week, where we explained why we like the things rather than just going, this.
What do we talk about? I can't even remember.
Talk about This Is America, or What Is America? That's not, what's it called? Who is America?
Who is America?
Yeah. Anyway, so should we move on to emails?
Yes, please.
So we've got a couple of good more emails. We've got one from anonymous.me. So it's from like one of those send email anonymous websites.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't even know either, but I looked into it after this, and you can. You
Anonymous.
just go on a website and you can just send an email from them basically. And it just comes to you from just like anonymous.me. But he's put his name at the end, so it's not like...
Yeah,
I just don't think he just probably just didn't want to use his real email address.
Fair.
And he says, hi guys, I'm a teacher and hi guys, I'm a teacher. Hi guys, comma. I'm a teacher, and a student recently asked me what made me happy, and I couldn't think of anything to say at the time, and it stuck with me ever since. So I started noting down things that genuinely make me smile or pick me up when I'm down. Things like when I see a reaction in a student's face when they finally click and understand something. That's nice, isn't it? Food and Overwatch.
Overwatch?
It's a video game.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that's those 3 things.
Okay.
And he put, so what makes you happy?
That's a good question. And this sounds a bit soppy, but actually the emails from this show make me happy. I like that people are engaging with something that we're doing and awesome, care enough to email in. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, same. Lots of things make me happy. My wife.
My wife.
No,
Boo.
but one thing that genuinely, my dogs make me laugh every day. So I'd say my dogs make me very happy. They do, like every day, like they'll do something and I'll just laugh, like proper belly laugh at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
My parents have a couple of dogs that I normally go and visit after we do the recording. So I'll go after this. And they make me happy. Not so much laugh. They irritate me. There's 4 of them. It's too many to have. But they make me happy because they
dogs.
show me a lot of love.
Yeah,
and they love me to bits, and that makes me a lot of happy.
Dogs. Dogcast.
Dog.
Yeah, I like a nice beer. I like some nice food. I like pizza.
Getting drunk and eating
Yeah,
pizza.
getting drunk and eating. Did that yesterday.
Yeah. Watching TV and films.
Yeah. Doing the podcast makes me happy. Okay, right. Thanks.
What was his name?
James.
Cheers, James.
Thank you, James.
Like to know if any of our listeners have stuff that makes them
Yeah,
happy.
let
What
us
makes
know.
you guys happy?
Yeah.
Obviously, apart from listening to this. Or actually, email in just saying this makes you happy, because that would make me happy.
commonclavethenewwest@gmail.com to make Joe happy. Okay, cool. Our next email is from David. And he says, it's David. It's the North Carolina guy. Sorry. I knew that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he
Well,
says,
the devil's tramping down.
He says, I gotta say, thank you for reading out my email. He says, just to update you, not one of my group listens to your podcast, and I can't find any other NC natives who listen. So maybe it is just him. And he says, I told one of my buds that they should listen, and it's a group of Welsh friends with the same humour as me. And he asked me, are the Welsh Irish? So he said, can you answer him? His name is Adam.
What was that chap's name again?
David.
David.
David, yeah.
Cheers, David.
Thanks, David.
No, is the answer. It's a funny one. I suppose.
I can imagine an American saying that.
Yeah.
In my head, when I read it, I laughed. I was like, I can imagine.
I can see that.
It's like, oh, they Irish?
Yeah. No, we are not. We're Welsh.
Celtic. It's not far
Yeah,
off.
Celt, yeah. Similar.
Similar. Not English.
Not English, not Scottish.
Not Scottish. Not Irish.
Not Irish. I suppose the best way, the easiest way, it was always quite difficult being a kid and you go on holiday and people would be like, you go wherever and people say, where are you from? You say, oh, I'm from the UK, I'm Welsh, I'm from Wales, I'm from the UK. And they go, oh, right, like England. You go, well, no, Wales is separate to England. We're kind of all one group, but we're separate identities.
I tried to describe it as like America, like states.
Yeah,
but it's also a bit more independent than each state, I'd say.
There's different history behind each one, but I suppose I don't understand the states enough to say that it's that different. Yeah. But that is a good way of explaining it. We all have our different, and there are different rules within each. Yeah. Or at least different benefits from living in one. For example, we get free prescriptions in Wales, but in England they have to pay for health prescriptions, medicines and things.
Mugs.
Yeah, idiots. So there are different, actual legal things behind Welsh, English, Irish, and Scottish.
Yeah, true. And accents.
We all have some funny accents going on. But the way to then explain it on holiday, it was always really difficult. Be like, Wales, we play rugby. No, not many places know rugby that well. Yeah. And you say, well, I'm trying to think of sort of famous Welsh people, Tom Jones, and some older people might get Tom Jones, but even then, not so much so. And he didn't do a huge amount for, obviously he did a lot for Wales, but you just see him as
he's more of a celebrity,
just a celebrity, but it's quite easy now with Gareth Bale. Yeah. Particularly when he went to Real Madrid.
Yeah, that really puts on the map, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you would say Gareth Bale, and then people would go, oh, right, Wales, I get it, and they link then the flag and then the team, the national team and stuff. So it's easier now than ever. With that, you just go, Gareth Bale. You go, same. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he grew up in Cardiff, just on the edge of Cardiff. Well, in Cardiff, where we live. So just down the road.
Just down the road.
It's nice to see
he's in school with my wife.
Oh shit! Yeah. It's nice to see he's doing well at what he's chosen to do. I just didn't choose to be a multi-millionaire footballer.
Speaking of Irish people, me and Rory McIlroy are born. We're exactly the same age to the day.
He's born on the same day as you.
Yeah, born on the same day.
Same year.
Yeah.
May the 4th, 1999.
Yeah, similar lives, similar successes.
Yeah, similar successes. Yeah.
Well, you just.
To be fair, you're a fucking good golfer. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And he's quite good as well.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's all right. Okay.
That's the same. What you just said reminded me of when me and my brothers, we were on holiday in Florida when we were 11, and we were in the jacuzzi with this Kenyan woman. That's three. In the jacuzzi with this Kenyan woman.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you do. Where were you on holiday again?
In Florida.
Florida,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. And she was just like, was chatting to us and stuff. And she was like, oh, so where are you from? And we were like, oh, Porthcawl. I remember saying, like, oh, Porthcawl. And she was like,
Do you know
no.
it?
I was like, oh, Wales? Like, and she was
Yeah.
like, no. And I was like, UK, Britain? She was like, no. And then we were like, my brother Luke was like, London. And she was like, oh, London.
Yeah.
That was weird. She didn't have a clue what the UK was or Great Britain.
Wow.
Yeah, but Porthcawl. Yeah, Porthcawl.
Oh, that Porthcawl. You know, it's near Kennelly.
Yeah.
You know, if you just go down the M4, junction 30, and you're like, do you not know it? Wait, you've never been to Porthcawl? So, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it was good. She was really nice, friendly.
Yeah. I wish I was Irish, to be fair, though. I've never met a not nice Irish person.
No.
Like, no, they've always just been really nice and good fun, very funny people.
Yeah, abortions though. Some
No,
of
they
the
flipped it.
Oh, they are good.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, some of them are for it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
generally not the people I meet or hang out
Yeah,
with
it's
because
true,
they're
yeah.
roughly my age and
Yeah. You like
normal
people. You like people who like you then.
I do like people that are like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit weird like that. Yeah. I generally associate with people
Yeah.
with similar beliefs and thoughts to myself.
Well, we were talking about stuff the other day, like with Brexit and Trump and that, and like
We get
how.
political.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like in my like social media bubble, there was no chance that Brexit was going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you mean it was just like it's bizarre, isn't it? Like like my world was no, that's definitely not going to happen. Don't be silly.
And I agree with that, and I know the point that you're
Yeah,
making.
yeah.
But to be fair, on the night of the referendum count, it was 8-1.
It's crazy.
You could have got 8-1 to that it was going to vote in favour of Brexit. So
mental.
it wasn't just our bubble.
Yeah,
the general
yeah, yeah.
belief was that it wasn't going to get through.
Crazy.
Don't
Don't underestimate old people.
underestimate idiots.
Yeah.
Let's get political.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
No. So we do have another email when we read out next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite a long one.
Very long.
We're a bit short on time
yeah,
today.
Yeah. It's very, very long, and it's not really a question.
I do love the emails though, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Keep them coming in. Ask us anything. Tell us anything. Or we did a good one that nobody really jumped on, which was just get Joe to do stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good idea. That
Yeah,
people could
we'll keep that up.
just be like, go and watch this film.
You still not very busy?
I got fuck all do it going on next
nice.
weekend. My plans for next weekend are to pick up my friends from a stag do I was invited to. So ideally, if I could get something better to do than that would be great.
Watch The Quiet Place, and we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, well I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I've got Amazon in the house.
So we'll try and not have a break for a while now. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so we'll just thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking by us. Hopefully not too many of you have unsubscribed. It wasn't episodes for a couple of weeks. But yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
The common clay, the common clay, the common clay, the new Morons.
A woman has cut off her boyfriend's butt.